Hello， 大家好，我是 Teacher Lydia， 欢迎来到国际聊天室。Hey everyone, I'm Teacher Lydia. You're listening to International Talk. 今天是我们国际聊天室的第一集访谈，很荣幸请到我一个很重要的好朋友来跟我们分享他的故事。我去年认识 Aria 的时候，就觉得他是一个非常有趣的人。爸爸是日本人，妈妈是美国人，大概8年前搬来台湾教英文和学中文。接下来让我们来看看 Aria 的访谈的一小片段。
Aria's Chinese is really, really good. So why don't you tell us about what brought you to Taiwan? How long you've been in Taiwan?
So I've been in Taiwan for about 7.5 years at this point. It's been a while. But right after college, I had gotten a scholarship from the US government. And it was a scholarship to teach, which kind of sounds weird, but it's a pretty famous grant, and that's why I came to Taiwan.
How long were you teaching for?
Well, first it was only for a year. I was in Elon teaching at a public school. And then as soon as the opportunity to apply for second year came up, I jumped on it because I knew that 1 year in Taiwan wasn't going to be enough.
When you first arrived in Taiwan, so 7.5 years ago, were there any things that you felt like really shocked you? Any culture shock moments that you thought, wow, this country is so different, or this culture is so different?
I think the most shocking thing was how toilet paper wasn't being flushed and seeing a basket full of used toilet paper right in front of my eyes.
That's not something they do in Japan?
No. And I think because of that, when Japan started having more like Chinese tourists, Chinese and Taiwanese tourists, that's what they did because that's what they do back home. But Japanese people really weren't used to that. So I started seeing a lot of like posters and notes in bathrooms in my hometown in Sapporo in, like incorrect Chinese saying like, please don't put it in the waste bin, please flush it down,
Here it's the opposite, right? They always have the sign saying, please don't flush the toilet paper.
Yeah. But like I've gotten used to it.
That's good. That's good. That's a good one. It's a small detail, but it's surprisingly important. Yeah. So, or is there anything that happened, or did you hear anything about Taiwanese culture that you couldn't believe, or that you didn't understand, or you thought that's really strange?
I didn't find it strange, but I'm gonna backtrack a little bit, but when I was applying for this scholarship back in college, I really didn't know what Taiwan was about. I didn't know what language people spoke here. I didn't know the culture, the history, or anything. But I did have a Taiwanese friend in college. Like, he was the only one Taiwanese student in my school. And he was like, yeah, people are nice there. And I was like, okay, sounds good. But I didn't know what he meant by that until I really got here and interacted with local people. At least in my experience as a foreign young woman, people have been very nice and willing to help me. Like, I don't even have to say anything. Like, just looking a little confused on the streets, people come up to me in English and say, do you need help? Are you lost? And like, these people probably have places to go to, but they have always offered to walk me to where I need to go to, or if they don't know themselves, they'll ask another Taiwanese person and take their time to help me out. And so that's always been something I've been always thankful for, and just kind of shocked in a good way, because I don't think that really happens in Japan, where I'm from.
It is true that a lot of people who come to Taiwan say one of the things they like most about Taiwan is how friendly people are. Mm-hmm. So I think it is definitely an important factor for Taiwanese people.
Yeah, and I try to pass it on to other non-Taiwanese people who visit Taiwan, because I want them to leave here and think, oh yeah, people were nice. That's one thing I think that people misunderstand, maybe, that we don't eat raw fish every day. It's really only for birthdays or graduations, special occasions, and celebrations.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You can go out for sushi with your family once in a while, or the kaiten sushi, the circular sushi, I don't know, conveyor belt sushi.
Yeah.
On the weekends, but it's not something we always eat.
That's
it's a special occasion thing.
I thought it was a common general food. But...
No, so when I see like sushi, quote unquote, in like packs sold on the streets, I'm like, this is so weird.
So the 7-Eleven sushi is probably weird.
That actually kind of scares me. I mean, I'm sure it's safe to eat, but yeah, it's not like, I don't know, the occasion isn't right, so like I don't just eat it every day.
Is there a Taiwanese habit that you've developed since you lived here?
So I always carry my water bottle with me and an umbrella. The umbrella especially because my first year in Taiwan I lived in Ilan, so it basically rained all the time, like no matter what the season was, so you always had to be prepared. So always carry an umbrella and water because I was taught not to drink the tap water here. And there's always, you know, like water machines everywhere you go, so I carry that. I do this even when I'm in the US or Japan, and I think the biggest thing I do now is I keep my like food trash in the freezer.
That's not something you did before?
No. I mean, okay, so the first couple weeks or the first month in Ilan, I kept like fruit peels in the kitchen, in the sink, in a bag. And then I was starting to see these little bugs crawl in and out, and I didn't know what they were. They turned out to be little baby cockroaches.
There are no cockroaches in Japan? In the US?
Not where I'm from in like northern Japan. Like there's like a pride among people from Hokkaido, like, yeah, we don't have cockroaches here, but there are like in the south.
What would be your biggest tip for Taiwanese people when they're learning English?
I think for learning English, there's no one right way to learn it. I know at least in Japan, they're like, oh, I want to be like a native speaker level. Like that's what I want to achieve. But I don't think they know how to have fun with learning it in Japan. So people get stuck easily. So I think for English language learners in Taiwan, like find ways to make it fun for yourself. Whether it's reading the newspaper or watching shows on Netflix, or I don't know, like listening to music, like make it fun for yourself. Like there's no one right way to learn a language. And also do it in a way that's like sustainable for you. Like it's easy to be like, yes, like these are my language goals, like I want to hit this and this and this by this time, but language takes a lot of time. So be patient with yourself and yeah, do it so that you can do it for a long time, so that you're not going to give up after a month or a year.
I love that.
It's a journey.
Yeah, it is. That's true, actually. Yeah, learning a language is a journey. It's not a, you know, you do it for a month and then you ace it. I really like that. That was really good advice.
Thanks.
Thank you.
想听更多 Aria 的故事和分享吗？欢迎到 Spotify 或 Apple Podcast 等平台收听完整版的访谈内容，直接搜寻 Teacher Lydia 国际聊天室 International Talk 就能找到。也欢迎追踪我的 IG， 还有订阅这个平台。If you'd like to listen to the rest of this interview, check out the full podcast episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow me on Instagram, Teacher Lydia Languages, or subscribe to this channel. See you next time!